journalists and physicians and scientists to publish their ideas and actually get paid for it by the people who subscribe to it. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, and there's lots of people on the far left and the far right.
Yes.
Right. So you actually have the full spray. Like when a far left person gets upset at work, somebody working in the New York Times is mad because they're not far left enough, they quit and they start a Substack. And Substack welcomes them in.
Yes.
Which is why they don't devolve into a Gab or something like that, because it really is a platform. It really does welcome all comers.
Well, it's also very difficult to subvert in that same way because Substack is essays. Right, you're reading people's essays and papers on things, and like these are long form things that are very well, in a lot of cases, very well researched, and it's not the kind of thing you could just shit post on.
Right.
There are comments, but it's just like they don't hold the weight that the actual article holds.
Right. So my partners at work, they've observed that I tend to be able to inflame situations from time to time. I can tend to be provocative, and get people really upset, and so the rule they've asked me to comply with is I'm allowed to write essays, for example, in Substack, and I'm allowed to go on long-form podcasts, but I'm not allowed to post.
Really?
Right, exactly. Well, it's the rule. It's the rule. Now, by the way, I struggle against the rules because I can't help myself.
Why do they want you to have rules?
Because otherwise, I inflame people too much. I drive people too crazy.
You do it on purpose?
Sometimes. I mean, sometimes you have to. Sometimes it's unintentional. Did you ever hear about when the entire country of India was mad at me?
No.
Oh, I spent one night with the entire country of India basically wanted to kill me. It was incredible.
Oh my goodness! What happened?
I mean, I was in a Twitter debate with somebody back when I was just posting freely on Twitter, and it was a debate about economics, and the topic of colonialism came up, and I made a comment in a long thread about colonialism, and it turns out the Indians are still extremely sensitive about the topic of colonialism, and wow. I did not understand the mindset and the historical orientation, and I tripped a line.
Ooh.
And I stayed up all night, and I went hyper viral in every time zone in India. Every hour there would be like an entirely new activation.
Whoa!
And I was like front page headline news, top of the hour TV news, like all the way across India.
Wow.
Yes, it was like I do not recommend this as an experience. By the way, I learned how many incredible Indian American friends I have because they all rallied to my, to my side. Said he's not, Mark's not literally calling for the recolonization of India. Like it's not actually.
There's probably the language barrier as well, right?
Language, and then just my big is just historical context. Americans have a different. We Americans experience history differently than almost everybody else. History for us is just like stuff that happened in the past that doesn't matter anymore. But a lot of other people around the world experience history as something that really still matters, like really matters to their lives today.
Yes,
they live in history more than we have a deeper understanding of kind of how they got to where they were and the things that happened to their parents and grandparents and ancestors. And so it's just I don't know if it's better or worse. It's just a different way of experiencing reality. Yeah. Anyway, I recommend learning that lesson not by enraging a billion people.
I experienced a small version of that recently because I said we shouldn't be using long-range missiles on Russia.
Okay.
And the Ukrainians, and Ukrainian bots, a bunch of people came after me because I was saying the Biden administration, I was like, fuck these people. And then I think some people misconstrued that as fuck the Ukrainian people, which I absolutely was not saying.
I see.
I was saying, fuck whoever in the last days of the presidencies decide to escalate this war, because it appears that that's what they've done. It appears that they're leaving Trump a giant mess, at the very least.
So the good news is I am allowed to go on podcasts.
That's good news.
And the theory, it's your. I bring it up though because it's your Substack thing. It's because it's basically Mark. You need to explain yourself in long form.
Yes.